mud here at the beautiful Straw Bale Studio in Oxford, Michigan, and I'm visiting my friend Deanne Bednar, and we're doing a cottage project this week. It's been great fun, but I just wanted to check in and talk about living roofs a little bit. You can see here behind me a fun example. This is a very simple design for a living roof, where we have a little cover for the firewood for the shed, and we've put up poles, and you can see underneath it's just poles that could be planks, or that could be plywood, or the poles that they've lashed up underneath here. That can be anything for a decking, and we've put up here on top of the decking some carpet or some old cardboard or something to pad over those boards, and some rubber membrane that could be as simple as a piece of billboard tarp or some old plastic. Plastic doesn't work as well because it tends to degrade in the sun, but you can see right up here, maybe you can see, this is a nice pond liner, and that pond liner holds the compost and straw mixture that gave the plants on it something to live on. The compost feeds the plants and lets the roots have something to grow in, and once the roots have colonized the area, we don't really care so much about soil anymore. The membrane itself is holding up, is protecting the roof. That is actually the roof, and you can see it's folded here to give a little bit of protection to the fascia, to the roof edge. That roof edge is sacrificial. You can use nice cedar boards or black locust or something if you want it to last a long time, but if you make your design so that you can unscrew them and replace them when they start to rot, because they will start to rot, because that's the most sensitive or most vulnerable place in the whole design. The rest of it's covered really nicely with our pond liner. You can also use sticky back roofing, as long as it's got a UV stabilization in it, like ice and water shield. But mostly I wanted to point out this beautiful forest canopy above us. The soil underneath tends to be colonized by plants that like the low light and like the water and the soil, and putting up a mixture of compost and some of the plants that were found in the area, like this this forest gardenia, I think it is, or a gladiola. I'm feeling a little ignorant at the moment, but it has spread and covered in just a matter of a year this whole roof surface. I see some volunteer raspberry bushes up there. It's just a mixture of plants, but most of it is that climbing vine that seems to love it so much up there. It's a beautiful surface, and it protects the pond liner somewhat. Those pond liners are designed to have about a 50-year lifespan anyway, but being protected from the sun helps a little bit more. You can see over here where there's no fascia board how the pond liner is set. This is a very inexpensive roof to put up. You'd use a heavier structure than you would, say, if you're putting up metal, but it's about the same weight as 3 layers of the asphalt shingles that everybody seems to use so much, and it costs less, and I think it's quite a bit prettier and more environmentally friendly. Another benefit is that it slows down the runoff that otherwise would just, every time it rains, would just pummel the floor of the forest here from the edges, because everything from the whole roof would come off at the edges, maybe even into one spot. So instead, if we have a living roof that absorbs that as a big sponge and then slowly releases it, we're going to have a much more gentle flow of water than if we just have one big solid surface. Also, if you were to put something like this on your workshop or on your house, you'd find that that the sun not hitting the roof, instead hitting those plants, will definitely cool the building, make it feel much more comfortable, and that mass up there actually will insulate it a little bit. You'd still want to put insulation under it to keep warm in the winter, but the soil up there and those plants definitely make the building more comfortable to be inside of. Let's see if we can get up there on the top. See how it just kind of disappears into the forest. I'll come back over here a little bit and you can see how nicely it backs up there. And then in the winter, when the leaves all fall off of everything, yeah, there's a little bramble up there, but really, really pretty way to do this. And the pond liner for that maybe cost $100. Everything else can come out of the forest. So that's a living roof, very simple living roof that I wanted to show you. Thanks for joining me. You can see me on Facebook, Uncle Mud on Facebook, or my webpage my webpage is unclemud.com. This is strawbalestudio.org or naturalcottageproject.com to see what we're doing the rest of the week. Thanks.